you guys, this is Tasemere, the host of the Blackout live from New York. Today is a little bit different. We're going on a journey of exploring Harlem, New York. Today, as you can see, this is the subway. We are on 8th Avenue, also known as St. Nicholas. The Blackout live from New York with me. Mission is to really explore the diaspora, Black people, as it relates to Black economics and determining how we can really think on deeper levels. Now, this is 125th Street. I used to work over here. Although I'm not a native Harlemite, as you would say, from the village of Harlem, we are going to be walking here to Harlem Business Alliance, which is a local nonprofit that works with Black business owners in Harlem and provides them with technical assistance to stay in business and to also grow. It's headed up by Regina Smith and Walter Edwards. So we're walking down the street. As you can see, some people are wearing their masks. It's super early in the morning, but as you know, people are up all the time. So as we're walking down this street, most people don't know this, but before Harlem looked like this with big box retail, there actually had to be a lot of infrastructure done in order to get trolley tracks off of the streets of 125th Street, which most people don't know about. That is actually a water line, a body of water underneath the street, because we are on the island of Manhattan. Also, New York City is really built on an island, which most people don't realize that. But we're walking down the street. Here we are. We are going to be crossing the street to the famed Apollo Theater, which, if you don't know, the Powell Theater has been around for decades and is a pillar of arts and culture around the world. A lot of musicians and creatives have gotten their start right here in Harlem at the famed Apollo Theater. So I'm going to be crossing the street so I can give you guys a view of what that looks like. I'm also going to show you a mural that is actually on the side of the street that I'm on that had a lot of controversy in the last, I want to say, 2 years. So we are crossing here, and I am going to show you this mural. So if you can see, this mural here is on the side of Foot Action, but this entire building block is actually owned by a church that is on the corner of the building right there. So this mural, basically, when Foot Action came, they wanted to cover the mural, and Harlemites were not having that. They were like, nope, that is not happening on our block. We want to maintain our culture, our history, our everything. And there was actually a protest. What most people don't know is that protests still happen in Harlem. You know, from the civil rights movement all the way up to Black Lives Matter, people still view Harlem as a place to come and voice their opinions about what is happening with Black America. And so on Malcolm X's birthday, they have a protest called Shut 'em Down, which they actually forced a lot of the businesses to close that day, and they were protests in front of your business. So here we are on the block of the Apollo Theater, and I'm sorry if I'm moving a little too slow, but I want you guys to really get the feeling of what is happening here. We have some street cleaners that are preparing the street for commerce. This is done by the 125th Street Business Improvement District. One of the goals of the bid is to keep the area clean and safe. And they do that by cleaning up this garbage before people really start to come out and do business. So here we are at the famed Apollo Theater. When Prince died, there was a swarm of people out here with purple shirts on, and almost like it felt like 15 minutes of his death. So this is the famed, Hall of Fame from the Apollo Theater. When Aretha Franklin passed away, people actually gathered at the Adam Clayton Powell building, which we are going to next. This is what it looks like. There aren't many mom and pops on 125th Street in central Harlem. This is what this neighborhood is really referred to when you think about political lines. Their community board is actually Manhattan Community Board 10. I think we will be going past their office space where they have different committees, such as the Economic and Development Committee, Health and Human Resources, I believe, among a lot of other committees where they really vote on a lot of things that happen in Harlem, but really 125th Street. So here we go. We're making our way to Adam Clayton Powell. This corridor doesn't really open until maybe around 11 a.m. I want to say. So later on, these streets will be full. It's projected to rain today, so I'm not sure if there will be vendors out, but usually you see people just put up a table and just sell their stuff. That has also been a topic of controversy, where some folks feel like people should actually get a storefront if they want to do business in Harlem and not just put up a table, while others feel like Harlem is also known for informal business infrastructure for the little guys to be able to come out and make a living. So you'll get a lot of mixed emotions whenever you talk with someone about the vending situation on 125th Street. And so now we are crossing the street. Here, I'll get you a close-up. They have renamed this street to African Square, if you can see the signage here. And we are actually crossing here to a statue of Adam Clayton Powell, which is immensely important in American history, but also in local Harlem history. He was a pastor. He was also an advocate. He started in city council. I believe he was the first black member of city council. He then moved on to be in the U.S. representative seat, I believe. This is a statue that has been dedicated to him. This is our Adam Clayton Powell State Office building. Adam Clayton Powell State Office building, where, as I mentioned before, people use this as a gathering space to grieve when our leaders are no longer with us, to celebrate. As you can hear, it's noisy early in the morning. It's noisy out here. As I was saying, they use this as a meeting place to gather. They have something right now coming called Summer Stage in Harlem, where they give creatives and artists space to come out and perform in public. But they also use this space as a gathering space for political views. You know, Malcolm X used to often be on this block here doing a lot of his saying a lot of his political views, having some of his meetings out here. So the history of Harlem is everywhere. It's in the streets, place, it's in the people, it's in the places that we touch, even if they are, you know, rebuilt and restructured to look a little bit differently. Over here, this empty lot that you see, I believe, if memory is serving me correctly, this is where the Studio Museum used to be. And the Studio Museum is a museum that pays homage to African Americans and Africans. It's really around the diaspora of Black folks. And they tore the building down in order to build it up a little bit bigger and better. I'm going to walk over here and see if the Black Lives Matter mural is still out. I believe that it was at least a few weeks ago. That was another really big deal. We'll walk over here to see if it's here. We're actually going on a journey to Harlem Business Alliance and going to see what's going on there, because I actually have an event there today. Just for people that are just tuning in, this is Tasemere, your host of the Blackout, live from New York. We are actually doing something a little bit differently than we have done before. I'm not seeing the mural. A little differently than we've done before in previous episodes, where I am taking you guys on a morning tour of my travel, walking through Harlem to get to Harlem Business Alliance. I have an event happening today, and I am giving you some of the sights here as we're walking down the street, but also giving you some of my reference points from me working in Harlem that I know are specific to 125th Street, which most people know as the economic engine of Harlem, and some people might say Manhattan in general. A lot of people come here in order to explore Black culture, have a lot of history here, both in the arts and literature and music and culture and politics. We have gone past the Apollo Theater. We then stopped, before we got to the Apollo Theater, we stopped at a mural that had some controversy, where Harlemites definitely protested to keep the mural up and not covered. And now we are just leaving the Adam Clayton Powell State Office building and the statue in front of the building. We are walking towards Malcolm X, also known as Lenox Avenue. One of the bizarre things here is that you can really tell people who live here versus people who visit here, even if you're visiting from another borough like Brooklyn, the Bronx, Queens, or Staten Island, by the way that they refer to the streets. Residents have a different way that they even refer to 125th Street. They just say, I'm going to 125. Whereas everyone else says, I'm going to 105th and 25th Street. So we're walking under this scaffold where there is some development happening, where they are actually knocking down and rebuilding this entire little strip, almost like most of the block here. I don't know what it's going to turn into, but interested to see. Opposite of us, you can see there's a Victoria's Secret, there's a Raymond Flanagan, a Olive Garden, a Burlington Coat Factory, and on the corner there is a Whole Foods. Whole Foods is one of the newer businesses here that received a lot of praise for coming. They actually have a vendor program where they work with local businesses to get their food into Whole Foods. They have a program. I think it's called the local vendor program. Another thing about 125th Street is that a lot of people come here to get their hair braided. So as I said, we're on Lenox Avenue and Malcolm X. We're actually going to be crossing the street because Harlem Business Alliance is just a few blocks away. I hope you guys are enjoying this walking tour that I am doing here. And then I will be logging off because I have to prepare for my event. Again, this is your host, Tasemere, with the Blackout live from New York. I'm here every Saturday at 10 a.m. I hope that you tune in next week. Who knows where we will be next week? I'm taking you guys on a journey of my life almost and how I move around. So this is interesting. Let me know if you guys like this and if you would like to see more of it. I remember when these big belly trash cans were installed because I actually worked on that project and it did not look like that when I worked on it. But with the pandemic, a lot of things have changed. So we are walking down Lenox Avenue, also known as Malcolm X. This is Whole Foods here. And we are literally 1 block away from Harlem Business Alliance. So my destination is very close. So thankful for the mentorship and the partnership from Regina Smith and Walter Edwards. Definitely shout out to Be More News founder and CEO Donnie Glover, with the drive and passion that he has and his mentorship and motivation to uplift, you know, the generation behind him. And I'm so excited to be on this platform. What we're walking by here is Harlem Shake. And here we go. We are coming up on Harlem Business Alliance. Thank you so much, you guys, for taking this journey with me today. I hope that you have enjoyed our walk through Harlem. Short, I know, but I hope that I gave you guys some context. So until next time, be safe, be well. This is Tasemere, your host of the